What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of The Chi. I know this review is hella late, but I've had the craziest week. But baby, this review is coming, okay? It's coming. So this is season 7, episode 9, and the episode is titled Last Respects. Let's get into it. Now, we start this episode off with Emmett. He's bleeding out, and Reg is forcing Hannibal to move his body out of his apartment. Like, y'all, Hannibal literally drags Emmett's body, bleeding and all, out of the damn apartment. Reg is so cold-hearted, but also at the same time, I'm just like, listen, I get it. The show is set up that we don't really use cops anymore, but I'm just trying to understand. It be gunshots. Like, you can hear gunshots. And I get it. Chicago is a crazy city, but the cops ain't never called. Like, how were the cops not called in the area to try to figure out what's going on? Because keep in mind, this is in an apartment building. You mean to tell me none of the other tenants was like, hey, yo, I think it was gunshots in my apartment building. But you know what? We just gonna let it go. We're gonna try to keep up with the storyline. So after that, we actually see the whole family. We got Emmett whole family. We got Damien, his mama, his daddy, 2 baby mamas. They are all at the hospital, right? And what's crazy is that the only people that can go back to see him is his mama, his daddy, and his brother, right? And first of all, I feel like the ladies, they was talking too much. Talking way too much. Like when they were like, oh, it can only be his family. Keisha gonna say, oh, I'm practically his family. Like, I'm his baby mom, girlfriend, fiance, all that. Don't matter. You're not married to him yet. Tiff pipes up. Well, I'm his ex-wife. Girl, y'all should just went on back there and said y'all was his cousins. Just say y'all his cousins. They ain't got no way to check that. Who your daddy is, or if this is on your mama's side. Who knows? Just play the game. But nonetheless, we got the family going to the back. 2 pregnant girls got to step to the side because none of them are married to Emmett. And y'all, I'm not trying to be rude, but when Tiffany piped up and was like, well, I'm the ex-wife, I was just kind of like, Tiff, please scoot back. Like, I get it. Emmett is your baby daddy. This is probably a very stressful situation because you just lost your boyfriend. But I don't know where you thought that was going to get you. Nonetheless, y'all, I was kind of frustrated because in this scene, I feel like Damien's face was not as bloodied and fucked up as it should have been. Am I the only one who felt that way? Like, Damien's face should have been jacked up. We couldn't give him, like, a black eye. All he got was that little drop of a scab above the lip. His whole face was bloodied. I'm confused. But you know what? We're going to let it go. Moving on. We see Darnell. He does say, hey, I'm going to text y'all whenever they let us know any information. Now, Keisha, she's over there pacing in that waiting room. And the only news that they have gotten is that he's in surgery. So now Keisha is thinking the worst possibilities. Like, he can come out of here and not be able to walk, not be able to, do all the things that he normally does. And we have Tiffany on the other hand. She's like, no, I mean, he's going to make it through this. And what's crazy is that these women are talking about the fact that they have both dated men and they have never talked about what would happen if they lost their partners. And honestly, I don't think that's a normal conversation to have at the age that they're supposed to be. Like, let's not forget that these characters are under the age of 30. Like, I don't think that if you are dating somebody and you're like 25, 26 years old, you're thinking, what would happen if you were to die? Like, that's not even a thought. Also, at the same time, these people are not married to these men that they were dating. Like, as locked in as Tiff and Rob were, and yes, they had businesses together and all that jazz, they weren't married, so why would they be having these conversations? Same thing with Keisha and Emmett. Why would they be having these conversations? But I guess moving on from there, we see Shad, Victor, Nuck, Jake, Papa, Jamal, and Dom. They've all arrived to the hospital. And I'm just like, I think that's weird. We already know that Reg is the shooter. Victor and Jake, why y'all here? Why are y'all here? Go get your brother. Call the police on your brother. You know where that nigga at. I'm not understanding why you in the hospital trying to, comfort Tiffany. And Jake, I don't even know why you're here. What's happening? But again, this show loves to just throw characters in scenes that don't even make sense. Nonetheless, Nuck ends up pulling Keisha to the side, and he like, what happened? Like, how did this happen to Emmett? And she tells him about the incident with Damien and how, she thought Reg was dead. What I'm trying to understand is how Reg has popped up and only a few people know that he's still alive. Like, the way these people's lives are, connected, more people should know that he's alive and well, okay? But nonetheless, here's the thing. Nuck feels like he got to be involved. He got to do something about this. And then he opens up his big mouth to tell Keisha that he is working with the cops and how the cops are looking for Reg. And I'm just like, Nuck, you are not a good leader. You show your cards too soon. I'm trying to understand how he was even Duda's right-hand person. Like, Keisha's not a bad person. You can trust Keisha for sure. But I just feel like he's trusting way too many people. You trusting Keisha with information. You trusting the pastor with information. Like, dude, I would never operate like this. What are you doing? Okay, so at this point, I'm thinking, all you got to do is get Jake's address. Get his address, give it to the cops. It's not that hard, right? Oh, so we see Nuck and he hems Jake up because Jake was walking by himself. And basically he hems him up against the wall and he's asking him about his brother's whereabouts. Like, where is your brother at? And, if Emmett dies, then the whole city will be on the hunt for him. I said, oh, no, we not. We are not about to circle back to this. Y'all remember, I can't think of what season that was, when Emmett was going around. I think he was telling Duda. Was it Duda? He told somebody how if he was to die or if somebody was to come after him, then the whole city would be in an uproar. Now, y'all, I gotta be honest. Is Emmett a cool guy? Sure. People know him for owning Smokies? Sure. But we really about to act like he got that much motion in the city? Like, okay. If that's what we want to do. Now, here's the thing. The only information that Jake told Nuck was that, oh, yeah, he run with Hannibal. I said, no, Hannibal, I really hate what they've done with your character because all he was a little weed mastermind. He was over there growing his weed when we first met him, had his weed business going. Of course, we know him as Brandon's cousin, but he has always laid low, never was into mess, none of that. Like, it makes more sense for him to have come around and be in this many scenes if he was kicking it with Rob. But him kicking it with Reg makes absolutely no sense. We've never seen them together before when the show first started. And I don't understand how we tried to make them be besties since Reg has come back into the picture. Makes no sense. Where's Big Mike? Wasn't there a Big Mike or did he die? Y'all let me know in the comments. Where he at? Nonetheless, moving on from there, we see Damien. Baby, this is where Damien gets in big trouble because Darnell is like, what happened? And how did we get here? Okay. Now we have Jada piping up and she's like, oh, I should have just given him all the money. Money? The money? Oh, baby, now Darnell knows that Damien was out here gambling. And he's like, listen, you got your brother into this, and what if he dies? So then Jada's like, no, don't say that he's gonna die. Like, you the person who told me that God has the last say, so we gonna put this in God's hands, right? Y'all, my heart is honestly breaking for Darnell because not only is he dealing with the fact that his wife is passing away at some point, we don't exactly know when, but on top of that, your son just got shot. Your other son is the one who got him into this. Then it's the possibility that Emmett may die. It's just too much. When I tell y'all they set this damn show up like this was the last season, they really set this up like this was the last season. And I'm kind of frustrated because if this is how y'all was trying to go out, this was not the move, okay? Because I just feel like we just got through old boy getting shot, Jamal. How is it that we get, barely an episode and a half later, and now Emmett getting shot? Like, damn, give us a break. So Darnell, he does end up telling Damien, like, listen, if I catch you gambling again, I will remove you from this family, okay? And you better start praying because, listen, if Emmett don't pull through, oh, baby, it's going to be over for you, okay? Moving on from there, we see Jake, Victor, and Shad. Y'all, I was so annoyed with this scene because Jake is like, yeah, I want Reg out of my apartment. Nigga, you ain't about to have no apartment. I don't know what landlord you got. But baby, most of them is like, if there's gunshots and we find out that someone was shot in the apartment, you got to move. What we talking about here? And then for Victor to be like, oh, I want him out of our lives. Victor, instead of you chasing around Tiffany with her pregnant ass, what you should be doing is getting Reg away from your brother from the beginning. Remember when Jake was over here robbing ATMs? Why was that not a conversation? So that you can check Jake and be like, Jake, what the fuck you doing robbing ATMs? Just because Reg is doing it don't mean you got to. Like, are we all not watching the same shit and questioning what the fuck going on? So, Shad is like, so how y'all think y'all gonna get rid of this man? And they're like, yeah, we're just going to have a conversation with him. A conversation? With Reg? Are we all okay? So, Shad, he ends up saying like, yo, so y'all just going to throw y'all brother away? And now Victor says that, Emmett has been more of a brother than Reg. I said, well, damn. He's so much of a brother that you want his ex-wife. Shout out to you, Victor. Moving on. So, y'all, we get to Nuck. He has pulled up on Hannibal. First of all, I'm like, how the fuck do you know where Hannibal live? Like, that's a random address that you just have, that you just know? That's a little weird. But nonetheless, y'all, we see the amazingly talented Kyla Pratt at the door. Y'all, I love me some Kyla Pratt. I've always loved her. And here's the thing. Why is that Hannibal's wife? I said Hannibal's wife. I can't see it, but sure, we gonna ride with it. So she opens up the door or whatever. At first, she wasn't even trying to let him in. Okay? Because she don't know that nigga. So why would she be opening up her door for him? So Nuck is like talking to Hannibal. He's like, yo, I know that you took Emmett to the hospital, right? I said, well, damn, Hannibal. You did have a heart. At least you did take him to the hospital and didn't just leave him on the curb and call 911. But at the same time, Nuck ends up calling Hannibal's wife tough. And I'm just like, wait, why did he call her that? Just because she don't want to let you in the door? Nigga, she don't know you. The fuck? So then she's like, well, yeah, you should meet my sister. Y'all, who her sister? Who is going to be her sister? Like, I feel like they're going to probably make the new girl, the new lesbian on the show, who's the shooter, which we going to get to later. I feel like that may be her sister. Because I think that's the only other person I would consider tough on this show at this point. But moving on from there, Nuck basically tells Hannibal to keep an eye on Reg. And Hannibal is like, oh, so you working for the feds now? Yeah, that's what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. And Nuck don't even deny it. That nigga said, yeah, I'm not doing anything different than what Q did. And I'm like, wait a second. You mean to tell me that now you're justifying your behaviors? Also, again, why the fuck are you telling everybody that you working with the feds? You got the pastor knowing, Keisha knowing, now Hannibal knowing. Nigga, what the fuck is wrong with you? I see why you was only running the whorehouse at one point. That's the only thing that you was responsible for, because you can't do power. You cannot do a crazy amount of power, because you go blab your fucking mouth to everybody. It's not making no sense. But you telling your boys they can't be flashy. Nigga, are you okay? Then, what's even crazier is that he tried to make it seem like he's the one who put the hit out on Q. Saying that he told his boss to do that. I said, now nigga, dude, I had his own issues with that man. Are you okay? Or am I tripping? Y'all, somebody please tell me, because I cannot even remember, because this show has took so many twists and turns. Was it Nuck that said that Q had to be taken out or something? I cannot remember that. But nonetheless, Hannibal is now being told that he needs to stay close to Reg, okay? And Nuck's like, yeah, because I can offer you protection. I said, nigga, you are barely getting protected yourself. Okay? But I guess. So, this man gonna tell them, oh, and if he comes by here, because, he may need a place to stay, let him stay here. Oh, baby. Kyla said, fuck that. That nigga can't stay here. Why would I let a crazy nigga in my house? Hello? Baby, only one on the show that got some sense right now. Only one. I said, yes, girl. You're the only one who got some goddamn sense. Reg is crazy. Why the fuck would I let that crazy man in my home? That man just shot and almost killed somebody. Nuck, are you okay upstairs? So, Nuck is still trying to convince her that he needs to stay there. Baby, she looked over to Hannibal and said, you bring that man up in this house and you gonna be sleeping on the couch. Well, he can't come here no more. Nigga. Hannibal's like, I'm not about to mess up my good thing for Reg and his bullshit. But Hannibal does say that he will keep an eye on him. Then we jump on over to Jamal and Dom. Y'all, they drain me. Every time I see them, I'm not interested. I don't give a fuck. So he's over here comparing him almost dying to this situation. And he's like, if I would have had a kid, then at least my kid would have like my legacy. Like how Keisha got Emmett's legacy if he was to die. And then Dom is like, no, I'll probably be more like Tiff. Because let's be honest, they really trying to sell us on this idea that Emmett and Keisha have like this perfect, relationship and everything's so great. But baby, it's really not. I honestly hate what they've even done with those two characters, but I digress. So now he want to go to counseling, y'all. He wants to go to counseling with Pastor Zeke. And she's like, no, I would rather go to a therapist. I don't want to go to no damn pastor. And honestly, I don't blame her, because that nigga, his shit's so fucked up. I would not go see Pastor Zeke about anything, okay? Honestly, I just want both of them to realize they got married just so that they can fuck and just go get an annulment. Like, we're fine. Just go get an annulment. But moving on. We see the brothers, they go see Reg, right? And they tell him that he needs to leave. And he's like, no, y'all need to stop jumping into shit that ain't got nothing to do with y'all. And Jake is like, you didn't have to shoot him. But Reg feels like, listen, you don't run up on somebody because you never know what that outcome may be. Now, hey now. I can't knock that man. What Reg is saying is fucking true. The way Emmett approached the situation, he ran up on that nigga, okay? If that's the case, baby, you just might die. You don't know, okay? So they officially put this man out, okay? I'm surprised that he went, considering I feel like Reg don't like either one of them. But whatever. Y'all, we see Alicia. She goes her ass up to the hospital so that way she can see Tiffany, right? She swears she going to go offer support, but really, Alicia is trying to see if Tiffany has a will. It tells her that she needs to get one because death seems to always be around her, which I agree at this point. And now Alicia wants Tiffany to meet with her lawyer. And Tiffany, she agrees that she will meet with the lawyer. Y'all, I'm not understanding Tiffany and Alicia's relationship. I gotta be honest. Like, I understand that Tiff is carrying this baby, but Alicia, the way you move it is so weird to me. I don't know. It's something off, but we're gonna go ahead and move on. Now we see Hannibal. He comes over to the apartment looking for Reg. Oh, we find the brothers cleaning up Emmett's blood. And I'm just like, you mean to tell me nobody came around? No officers, nobody came around to see what them gunshots was? No? Okay, fine. Nonetheless, they cleaning up the evidence, okay? And they're like, he don't live here no more. Now, he says that he may be done with Reg as well. Hannibal, I'm still trying to understand how you even got involved with Reg, because it makes no sense. Moving on, we see that Reg is going over to Candace's house. I'm surprised, because I'm like, nigga, that's where you went? Where the fuck Dante at? Where is Dante? So he's basically telling her everything that happened and how we got to this point, right? So Candace questions, like, why did you even shoot Emmett? And he tells her because he thought that he was going to get shot himself. And then he says that he'll shoot anybody, right? That'll run up on him. And she's like, and look where that's got you. Homeless and alone. He flips this into a moment to flirt with her. And he's like, no, because I'm here with you. Nigga, you are homeless. Cut it out. So now he feels away because his brothers chose Emmett over him. And at this point, this is what I realized. Clearly, there's going to have to be some type of battle between him and Victor. It has to be happening. Because he definitely feels a way that they completely dissed him. And I'm just like, well, nigga, you shot somebody, like, that didn't need to be shot. Like, are you okay upstairs? Oh, right, you're not. And then she ends up telling him, Candace, like, yeah, you can go ahead and stay here, but police better not show up at my door. I said, well, baby, they gonna come at some point. Don't you worry. So next thing we see is Hannibal. He's trying to get in touch with Reg, text him, and Reg ends up giving him the address. Y'all, we go back to the hospital. And Keisha tells Damien that this is all his fault. And Damien's like, I didn't tell that man to go fight for me. Which is true. He did not tell Emmett to go over there and fight for him, okay? But Keisha's like, no, that's what he does. He fights for his family. So now Damien is trying to apologize, but Keisha's like, nah, you got to go tell Emmett that. And I'm just like, well, damn. Damien, I feel like you have definitely hit rock bottom at this point, okay? And Keisha decides that she's going to go to Smokey's, y'all. When I tell you I was hella confused, this whole Smokey situation confused me. First of all, Tiffany is like, oh, wait, you gonna go where? Wait, I can come with you. Like, you know what I mean? It's fine. I'll go with you. And she's like, no, Dom is gonna meet me there. This is the part that really got me. Here comes Shad, who was in the background. His raggedy ass gonna say, we'll call you if we hear something. Nigga, you didn't offer her to drive? You didn't offer her a ride? That's all your ass do is drive. You are literally Alicia's personal Uber driver. Nigga, you could not. I'm sorry, that pissed me off. This girl, this woman, she is pregnant, okay? Stressed the fuck out. She's been stressed to begin with. Then there's a possibility that her man may die and you trust her driving? Are you okay? What the fuck are we watching? Y'all, I'm telling you. The more I see Shad, he pisses me off because the way he does not, help women pisses me off. It's the same thing when Tiffany was carrying a bunch of, heavy shit and Shad saw her, the nigga lived with her and didn't offer to help. That, I'm sorry, shot pisses me off. Like, I don't understand this. So then we see Keisha. She's opening up Smokies, baby. Now it's a new day. I guess she done went home, took a shower, got herself together. And Keisha does all the jobs, y'all. Keisha does all the jobs when it comes to opening up Smokies. I said, Keisha ain't never worked a day here in her life. Okay? How Keisha know all the things to do? But nonetheless, Dom shows up, and Keisha tells her, listen, Damien cannot work the register. And my whole thing is, if he can't work the register, let that nigga be on leave. He don't need to work here right now. Darnell, let him go do some plumbing work with you or something. That nigga don't need to be here. So then, this is the part that really threw me off, because Dom is telling her, well, Keith got fired. And then they said, well, Kenya's back in town. She can work the register. That bitch don't work here. Are we okay? Did Kenya come back and say, I want my job back? Like, what? Just because she back in town, now she magically work back here? Then, out of nowhere, here comes Dom. Lene said she can come help me in the kitchen. Why? Why would Lene do it? Y'all, am I going crazy? Or is it that we are just throwing people into scenes? Like, they're setting it up for us to just have everybody on this goddamn show go work at Smokies. I don't understand it. So then Keisha, she ends up questioning who can take the management place. I said, well, shit, y'all going to go find random people? Go get Papa out the church. He used to run Smokies. I'm pretty sure he know what to do. Child, I can't. Now, we gonna move on to Pastor Zeke and Sarah. Y'all, I'm confused as fuck. This nigga packing shit up. I said, where the fuck he going? You mean to tell me this nigga lost the whole church? How? How the fuck did he lose a whole church? According to him, he's building a new church. And Sarah basically tells him that she can't start fresh, okay? She needs something established. And here's the thing. She has something to fall back on. She can go back to her daddy's church. This nigga got played, and she told him that, she will always care for him. So he tells her to leave. Y'all, again, you mean to tell me, I'm sorry, you mean to tell me that every member of the church left because he was fucking on a white woman, but not because he was scamming the members? What the hell? I'm sorry. But that nigga could have got kicked out of church for other reasons and not this. I just cannot see this being the reason. So we move on over to Kenya family. And Kenya's grandmother is talking to her mom. I don't know their names. But basically, the grandmother is trying to convince Kenya's mother to get back with Pastor Zeke. Girl, why? For what? In what world would that work? Because they clearly don't see eye to eye. And then, keep in mind, they are folding clothes, right? And I'm like, why the fuck are y'all folding this grown girl's clothes? Kenya is grown as hell. She can fold her own clothes. So, here go Granny. She opens up the drawer to put the clothes in. She finds a gun. I said, this motherfucking gun wasn't even hidden. Like, it was just sitting on top. And of course, we already know this is one of Zay's guns. My question is, how many bodies is on that motherfucker? So, we then go over to Candace's house. And guess who shows up? Keith. Baby, come to find out Keith is her cousin. And now he's staying with her. My question is, what happened with Tracy? Did him and Tracy stop, fooling around? When did that happen? I'm confused. So Keith has noticed that Reg is sitting over there. So he like, what the fuck is this? A halfway house? Yes, this has now become a halfway house, okay? And Candace is asking him, like, has he found a job yet? And baby, here we go. My thing was this. Wasn't he just fucking on Tracy? Rock is still around. Don't they hire ex-felons? Why he couldn't get a job at Rock? Is that not a place anymore? But you know what? We're going to let it go. So Reg is like, oh, okay, so where'd you work? Keith telling him he worked at Smokies. Why did Reg say, yeah, I just shot that nigga Emmett? Excuse me? Like, I don't understand these people. They just be admitting shit to people that they don't even know. You don't know this nigga. Why the fuck are you telling him that you just shot Emmett? Again, this is my problem with this show. I understand that they completely eliminated the cops, but baby, bring the cops back. Bring the cops back. Because this makes no fucking sense. So, after we establish that, okay, this become a bash Emmett and his family situation. Because Reg is like, yeah, I shot Emmett over a money situation with his brother Damien. And of course, Keith knows who Damien is. He's like, yeah, that's the nigga that got me fired. So, after that, they start talking about how Emmett, he missed the shot shooting doodah, but really he wasn't even a shooter. He was just a getaway driver. Like, they just saying all kind of stuff about this man. So then, oh girl, she want to order some food. And they're like, well, you can't order from Smokies, okay? We don't want that shit. And she's like, but I like that cheese dip. Y'all, why in the hell did motherfucking Keith say it's just shredded chicken and Velveeta? Baby, when I tell y'all I laughed so hard, I said shredded chicken and Velveeta. Now you spilling the recipe too? I can't take y'all. So, y'all, we see Emmett. He's laid up in that hospital bed. His parents are with him and Damien is there. And when his parents step out, I think they was going to get like coffee or something. Damien, he promises his brother that he's going to get his shit together and he needs Emmett to wake up, right? We jump over to Kenya. Kenya's mama. She goes to see Pastor Zeke and tells him about how she found a gun. So now, the mom says that Kenya has been depressed since Zay died. And now Zeke is like, well, you know, she should come live with me. But the ex-wife says, no, you can't handle Kenya and her son because they're a package deal. But he's like, who says I can't? I can handle it. That nigga can't handle it. Okay? He could barely handle losing the goddamn church. Because he didn't even know how to navigate that situation. So, no, you can't be trusted. Now, they do plan on talking to their daughter about this situation. But honestly, I'm just like, again, Kenya is a grown-ass person. What are we talking about? Then we see Hannibal, Reg, and Keith. They're all smoking. And Hannibal is asking questions, you know, trying to see what information he can get out of Reg. But Reg, he ain't really into the questions. However, he does say that he need a shooter. Baby, he look over to Keith, and Keith said, nigga, I am not trying to go back to jail. But I can give you a recommendation. According to him, he got somebody. Now, we then jump over to Papa, who was talking to his mother. Y'all, this right here pissed me off. Because I've realized that now Pastor Zeke will be preaching at Papa Daddy Church. This makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. Like, I understand that he lost the church at this point. But Papa, you don't owe that man that much. Oh, because he lost his church, that don't mean shit. Like, did you even have a conversation with your mama? Because I feel like you just be doing shit because now you think that you're the man and your mom just has to, like, go along with it. And I don't like that shit. As if she doesn't have a brain of her own. So, we jump on over to Damien. He's in a meeting, right? I guess he had to tell the people all the stuff that went down, how he lost the bet, how Emmett is in the hospital. And y'all, I feel like this man need more than a meeting, okay? Like, these little meetings, it ain't helping. Everybody literally left him to go cry alone. And he ends up texting Zuri, and she ghosted him. We jump back over to Pastor Zeke. Charles is there, and Papa, and they at Papa Daddy Church. And I'm like, this whole thing is weird. I don't understand how Charles got the boot. Now, what they should have done was Pastor Zeke get the boot, but Charles would stay because the ladies actually liked him. A lot of people liked Charles. And I feel like it could have been a battle of Charles and Pastor Zeke. We could have got some conflict between them. That would have been good. But no, he's following Pastor Zeke around. I'm like, that don't even make no damn sense. You know, whatever. Let's jump on over to Keith. Y'all, we see his shooter, and it's a woman. Definitely lesbian, definitely mass presenting. And here's the thing. This show is going to always give you a masculine presenting lesbian, okay? I would have loved if the shooter was like a girly girl. Could be lesbian, because I don't want to give Reg no opportunity. But I think it would have been interesting if it was like a girly girl, because that would not have been expected. But I guess, whatever. Keith basically tells her that she can work with Reg, and she says that she'll meet with him. All right, fine. So then we see Tiffany. She's meeting with Alicia and the lawyer. Now, basically, it sounded like if Alicia dies, everything will go to Tiff. And Tiffany feels like, this is a lot to be taken in. So she needs some time to process all of this. We jump on over to Jamal and Dom. Again, we get to see them in a therapy session. I said, damn, he just said he want to be in therapy. It's not even 24 hours later and you already in a session? Shit, let it breathe. And all we got was that he wants a child to carry on his name, and she don't think that's a good enough reason to have a child. Here's my thing. That nigga didn't even do well with raising Lene. Okay? So, no, he don't need no fucking kids. Get the annulment. We jump over to Keisha. She's already interviewing somebody. I said, what the fuck are we doing? Y'all are moving some shit too fast. Nonetheless, it's another mask presenting lesbian, okay? Shout out to her. Because it is very clear that Lena Waithe said, my peeps is gonna be seen, okay? So, basically, she a cool little candidate or whatever. I just want to know how the fuck does she already know that Emmett got shot? And my whole thing is, if you know that Emmett got shot, do y'all also know that Reg is the one who did it? Does the city know this shit now? And basically, she does tell her that, Emmett is going to make it through, and she gets hired on the spot. So we jump on over to Kenya and her parents. So they have this conversation about the gun, and she tells him that, she was scared and needed protection. And she's like, what if I'm next? But Zeke is like, no, you won't be next. Also, you're not running the streets. Zay, that ex-boyfriend that you had, he was in these streets heavy, okay? So then, here we go with us finding out, of course, it was Zay's gun. And her mother is like, I don't want you hanging out with guys like that. So Kenya's like, oh, you mean guys like Dad? Baby, let me tell you something. I've realized, as much as people want to be so open with their children, fuck that. Your kids don't need to know every inch about you. Your kids don't need to know everything about you, because one thing that they will do, I've noticed that some children, they will try to emulate and repeat situations of the past. They will try to justify them being on bullshit because they're like, well, daddy did it. Well, mom did it. Well, listen, all because your mom and daddy did it, they didn't know no fucking better. We done tried to guide your ass to do better, and look at you. It don't make no damn sense. So that's where we are there. According to Zeke, he now wants her to spend more time with him. And I'm just like, this girl is grown. Spend more time doing what? Handing out pamphlets at the church? Also, y'all, I gotta be honest, Kenya bores me. Like, I just don't care for her character. But we're gonna go ahead and move on. We see Keith homegirl. I don't even think we ever got her name. She's playing a video game to prove that she don't miss as a shooter. I said, okay. So video games are like real life. So I feel like Reg has met his match with her, because the way she interact with him, she don't take no shit. And she's especially not going to take his shit. So we good on that, okay? So now we see Zeke and Nuck. Baby, Nuck is fidgety. Nuck don't know what to do with himself at this point, because he is in Papa Daddy church. He is in Pastor Stanley's church. And at this point, he has to tell Zeke that, he's the one who took Papa Daddy out, okay? So what was crazy to me is after he told him that he's the one who shot Papa Daddy, that's when Zeke wanted to take a step back from him. I said, nigga, he a shooter. Why are you taking a step back now? Like, it don't even make no sense. That man he been a shooter, okay? So now you want to take a step back because he shot a pastor? I don't even understand. So now Zeke is asking Nuck, who does he want to be? And Nuck is like, he don't know. He been not knowing. Y'all both been playing in each other's face. I'm so sick of these two. I'm sick of them. So then we see Pastor Zeke at the church. Y'all, guess who in the audience? Alicia. I said, baby, the devil all up in this church. You have all type of devils up in this motherfucker. No, thank you. So, Papa, I guess he told his listeners to come down to the church because there is an audience there. Pastor's up there preaching about all the stuff that he lost and how he needs to be obedient to God. And then he gives Papa this big old shout out because Papa gave him another place to preach. And at this point, this nigga is trying to get his money up, okay? Now, he goes on to talk about gun violence. And after the sermon, Alicia talks to Pastor Zeke like, this is not what we agreed upon. Like, what's happening here? And he's like, we never made an agreement, okay? You tried to run some shit, and you think that you got it, and you not. I said, well, I feel like at any given moment, Alicia may take the pastor out. I wouldn't put it past her. So, y'all, then we see this conversation happen between Victor and Tiffany that completely blew me. Now, this girl, she's like, why didn't you tell me that Reg was alive? And he's like, yeah, I didn't tell anybody that. So she's like, I thought we had something, but you keeping stuff from me. Did y'all really have something that deep for him to tell you that shit? Like, I'm so sick of this. I'm disgusted. I don't understand how we have Victor and Tiffany. She got time to play up in this man's face. And then also entertain another nigga, but has no time for her son, EJ. That shit pisses me off. So, at this point, she's telling him that she thinks that they're moving too fast. And y'all, honestly, I'm looking at Victor. And at this point, I'm like, no. I'm looking at Luke James. This role is aging this man. Y'all, Victor gotta go. I love him, but this role is aging the fuck out of him, okay? Alright, so in the next scene, we have Nut getting a text from Hannibal that basically is the address to where Reg is staying. He sends it directly to Toussaint. Alright, cool. So then we see Nut getting a text from Tiffany. Girl, not you thanking him for putting that fucking crib together when you was just with him at the fucking hospital. Like, are we all okay? Like, you have got to be kidding me. Tiffany, you still over here playing games? You mad at Victor, so now you want to be all up in Nut face? Bitch, you too old for this shit. Go focus on Rob's baby. Go do that. So then we see Toussaint, and the only thing her ass is doing is taking pictures of Reg smoking outside. I said, girl, that's all you got? I thought you was going to have, like, SWAT out here to arrest him. And then we see that Emmett has woken up. He's wondering where Keisha is, and Damien's like, they wouldn't let her back here. So he goes to get her, and, she comes, and she's, like, happy that he's up. And here's my thing. This is when this man says, Keisha, will you marry me? I said, I guess. Because I just feel like Keisha deserved a better proposal. Am I the only one who feel that way? Like, I just really am just like, okay, that was anticlimactic. Like, I guess. Y'all, I don't know. As much as I like Keisha and Emmett, I just really hate what they've written for their characters. But, that is what this show is. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. What are y'all feeling about this season so far? Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all on my next review. Bye, guys.